think we need to go back and redefine inflammation.
Yes.
Generationally, possibly.
Yes.
Okay. Um, because I think that if our definition is too small, I think our healing might be too small. I think that the box that we're limiting ourselves in still might be too small. So for many people, it's been reduced, as we were discussing, to just this physical, right? Like conversation. It's a
Mhm.
symptom, it's a diagnosis, it's a reaction in the body. It's a medical word.
It is.
I do not want to use that word like that at all.
Mhm.
What if inflammation is actually, like we started to talk about, that internal or possibly an external irritant?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's overload. Maybe it's congestion. Maybe it's like distress that disrupts some sort of alignment within us. You
Mm.
know, um, I think that anything that disrupts our healing or interrupts our peaceful strength or feeling peaceful, right?
Yeah.
And living in alignment, anything that disrupts that, I believe, is a form of inflammation. We've reduced it. Oh, I'm stressed out. Let's
Mm.
really talk about like who we are as a people right now, especially life in America. But I think there's a lot of inflammation across the globe because it's not only physical, it's spiritual, it's emotional, it's psychic, it's mental, and it's physical. And if we only continue to address like this surface layer, well, we ignore the rest. And that's where I think, no, you're so wise that you were like, all right, look, I got a lot of multi-layered things going on here.
Yeah.
I need a shift
Yeah.
in perspective. And like sometimes we literally can ignore the very layering that's occurring within us because it feels like too much. It feels like more of an overload again. Our inflammation inflames us, what we were just talking about. And we get pissed off at our bodies, we get pissed off at our minds. And I think that the most loving thing that we can actually do is to begin to care about the whole person, the whole human, and not just like, okay, I'm not just a symptom. I'm not just a chemistry. Like people have been having a lot of things, Noah, as you know,
Yeah.
go on with our bodies.
Totally.
Did the labs tell us the whole story? I've been at points in my life like, what? Like, these are the places, though, that we've kind of allowed the acknowledgement of inflammation into our lives to show up. And I feel like Gen Z is kind of the canary in the coal mine
Mm.
saying, listen, y'all, we've had processed foods from the time we were in utero
Mhm.
with like a lot of chemicals, a lot of things in terms of like the earth's chemistry and what she used to give us for our sustenance and our food have been interrupted. Like our earth is inflamed also.
Yeah. And if I may, Michelle, one of the things that as a member of the Gen Z generation, I've noticed is all of the Gen Z people that I'm around, friends, colleagues, are so different. And I think it's because they went, wait a minute, this is a choose your own adventure situation.
Mm.
You know, like there are Gen Z people that I know that love to work and they love to travel and, get a million texts on their phones and they're going from meeting to meeting and they love it. There's other Gen Z people that I know that are like, we're homesteading
Yes.
and like, we're gonna like eat farm to table and disconnect as much as we can from the internet. And so it's just fascinating to see what pathways everyone chooses for themselves.
And I think so often that the variation in those pathways literally reflect the variation that we need in our lives to bring us into some form of alignment,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And we've been looking for outside of us what's created the distortion, the misalignment, the overwhelm, the stress, the hurriedness, the fear, the anxiety. Like we all know all that icky.
Mhm.
I'm inviting the conversation as I've been having with clients in my office for 2 decades plus now about an internal peace through strength, if you will, taking your love for yourself and actually creating less inflammation in your existence from overhauling the body to the mind to the spirit, but based on loving yourself and loving yourself some more because this isn't about perfection. Like, y'all, I literally had more inflammation across my mind, my body, my spirit, my psyche, my psychic, my intuitive, like parts, places, every single like I was like dancing around, is this inflammation going to take me out? That was the drain that I was
Yeah.
dancing around. And so I I say this because I think that, psychic inflammation, like we started to talk about, it might look like a disconnect because, like, whoa, I'm just too like overloaded, right? You might
Hmm.
have emotional inflammation that maybe it looks like grief that hasn't moved.
Mm.
Like I've been working on moving grief. Like that's been like an ongoing story for me in this year. And I want to move it. I remember that little from Disney. I like to move it, move it. Like I
Madagascar. Oh yeah.
totally like
Animal guides right there.
animal guides because legitimately, you know, anger that hasn't softened, like fear that hasn't metabolized, resentment, hurt, accumulated emotional stress that keeps the system overly activated is a form of inflammation. I would say as uncomfortable as arthritis can be for somebody that's, say, many, many years older than a Gen Zer, like my dad's age, like a boomer, that inflammation shows up in different parts and different places. And the
Mm.
loss of peace, soul exhaustion, right? That could look like spiritual inflammation. My goodness. We
Yeah.
went through that during COVID,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
And so, I just am looking outside of our culture. Like, I'm looking to, when you look at the whole, sometimes you're like, oh my God, everybody's a mess and blah, blah, blah. I keep reminding people that 53% of engagements out there on the internet is bots. It's bots.
Yeah.
So, like, we get inflamed by things that we've created that only are as real as we make them. So it's about reducing our overwhelm, right? It's about ridding ourselves, our bodies. Like Noah, you're somebody who likes transformation.
I am.
Like you came off of a really big traveling stint
I
and you
did.
saw me for a huge reduction of inflammation at a physiological, spiritual, emotional, psychic, and you don't have to delve deep into it.
Yeah.
But but your transformation happened rather rapidly, considering the inflammation that you were carrying when you returned.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I love my Sag moon, but um, for many years I traveled the world. I traveled the world to South America, to Europe, across the United States, and I traveled with no real intention.
Mhm.
Other than I love to explore. I'm a Taurian. I love to eat and drink and be merry, and I'm very social. And I would travel the world and I would stay in different places for extended periods of time. Um, but for me personally, and just sort of my truth, the problem with that for me is that I would build relationships with people in different parts of the world, but it was difficult to maintain those relationships if I'm always traveling to the next spot. And so, one of the things that has been a huge shift for me is that I haven't left the United States in over a year. And not only that, but I've gotten a permanent residence in Nashville, Tennessee, which is one of the places that I traveled to, and was one of those places that I thought, okay, yeah, like this place I can make my home. And so just that alone helped me reduce so much inflammation. And it's
Yeah.
it's interesting, Michelle, if I had an Aries. It's like all of my sacred mirrors are like either Aries or Cancerians, but I had an Aries once tell me, Noah, you have to look at the data of your life. And I'm like, what? And
Mhm.
he's like really think like when I was doing the best or I felt the most in alignment, like what was happening in my life? And I'm like, well, I wasn't traveling. I
Mhm.
stayed in one spot and I actually spent a lot of time by myself. I
Oh.
would do things that brought me energy and I enjoyed like going to concerts, going out to dinner, but I didn't go on these long binges of traveling from place to place. And Michelle, I remember I was hard to believe it's like about a year ago. I had just come back to the US and was in just such um, weird energy and a bad headspace. I had so many things going on. I had, personal troubles, relationship troubles. I had lost a exorbitant amount of weight in a not healthy, not sustainable way. And I came to Nashville Colon Care and did a higher self session, and it was conversational hypnosis, conversational alchemy, and you asked me some questions and listened and offered invitations into different perceptions,
Mhm.
and that changed everything for me.
Mhm.
And I was able to then put some different plays in motion, and within just a few months, not only turned everything around in my life, but was doing better. Like was doing better financially, relationally, health wise. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that how we frame our experiences in terms of things are right, things are wrong, evaluating in very, I don't know, it's not always quantitative, Torian.
Hmm.
And the quality
That's true.
and the qualitative with the Sag moon, my friend, and legitimately, I think that recognizing the worth in oneself and even if we can't, gratitude for something outside of ourselves, like gratitude is one of the quickest inflammation busters.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think, Noah, that was what you realized like without sharing the specifics, was that you had had the privilege of creating all of those ranges of experiences.
Totally, Michelle. That's just it is I when I realized that as a master manifestor Torian, I intentionally created every not so fun experience Like I remember the situations, the specific relationship dynamics that I got myself into. Once I realized that, I could think like years back, months back, how I
Mm.
manifested and wanted that experience. But the thing
Yes.
is I got what I manifested and I went, whoa, this isn't actually what I
Is
want.
this really what I want? Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Which,
Yeah.
sometimes we have this really fixed of what we think we want hypothetically, and we have to actually like live the experience and flow through it. And it's an interesting thing. And I think that one of the things that you really recognize, and I feel this at such a deep level as somebody who herself can be a delayed processor.
Yeah.
There are things that I would rather chronically ignore
Mm,
because I think that I'm avoiding conflict.
right.
Okay. And some like talk about inflammation and irritant, like relationally.
Mhm.
But what happens is in that chronic ignoring, I'm creating a frequency within myself that is rather in some form of misalignment, shall we say, that's irritating me
Yeah.
because I've ignored something. If you're ignoring it, you're acknowledging the importance of it in some ways. I'm talking about things that you've ignored chronically too long. There's a ton of
Totally.
shit that I ignore on a day-to-day basis. Thank heavens. Or else I'd be in the lily bin. Like there's only so much information that we can actually store. Like 7 bits of information. Like if you think about it, and
And
marbles in a
it's
tube.
okay, Michelle. I wrestled with this for a while, but this was another epiphany that I had through our work together is it's okay. Like we totally want to extend love and accept everybody how they show up. But that doesn't mean that we can't use discernment and say, you know what? This particular arrangement or situation
Mm-hmm.
is not in alignment for me. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to decline to participate. I love you, but I don't believe that, again, this arrangement or situation is in alignment. Like it's okay to maintain, um, I don't know what you'd call it, goals or whatever whatever you want. It's okay to have, I guess, perspectives in terms of, hey, this as it relates to me and my journey isn't going to work.
Yes, yeah, and this is another thing. Okay, so like I've been playing with all of this, like you've got somebody sitting here like me. I have tens of thousands of hours of working with people, and you're trying to find what your overarching, like what do you help people to do?
Yeah.
And I recognize that like God universe like has been growing me legitimately to support a redefinition of sorts of what the information of inflammation gives us. And the information of inflammation, if we can put it in that way, that it's informational, it's not judgment. It's not that the house is on fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if something is acute inflammation, heck yeah. Like you slam your hand in the car door, thumb, true story, happens a family member recently.
Yeah.
Damn, you better get to the ER really quick. Okay. So, like, yeah, that's an acute situation. I'm talking about like the chronic kind of stuff that
Mhm.
we all in our lives, there's information that inflammation is telling you. It's a messenger. And you could get pissed off at the messenger, or you could invite the messenger in and have a cup of tea with the messenger. Maybe have, I don't know why I'm getting this in, a little crumpet. Have no idea what that's about, Noah.
Yeah.
And you could like sit down with it and start to figure it out. And if you're not sure what to do with that inflammation, a lot of times now you're hearing about gut health, gut biome. Like people are like, okay, what's that? And when I say to people, hey, guess what, y'all? Have you ever thought that your anxiety
Mm,
might be coming from some inflammation within the gut that is literally possibly interrupting your serotonin production, your uptake?
yeah.
Like, and people are like, whoa, I hadn't thought about this like this. I was talking to a respiratory therapist yesterday who saw me as a client, and she was like, we were talking about gases. And I said, listen, my friend, you know about gases more than anybody else because you're the person that helps people to get the good gas, the oxygen.
Right.
And she had not viewed inflammation from the standpoint of how, from gut health, you could actually increase overall oxygenation. And it's just,
Fascinating.
we've been reduced in many good ways because of specialists and people that do great work out there that give us incredible perspective with precision that is exceedingly necessary. However, I'm talking about now for the broad based general audience who's out there, our listeners. I think that this is about awareness, that inflammation is about something like we have to have compassion. We have to reduce burden, right? We have to kind of restore a system, within us. And it's about remembering that healing really isn't like a punishment, it's actually a partnership
Totally.
that's rather a blessed one. It's, it's like, Noah, what is that Japanese? This keeps coming up. It's not, oh, what is the Japanese pottery when it,
Oh, yes. It starts with a K.
yeah, God, and all I keep thinking is New Mexico Kachina, but it's not. And it's not kabuki because that's the dancers. It's going to come to us. But there's a Japanese art where the broken pieces are put back
Yeah,
together.
is it like kintsugi or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, Noah,
Yeah.
with the beautiful gold,
Yeah.
with the gorgeous gold like leafing that's done it. It makes it exquisite.
Well, and I saw a meme that was like me if I were Japanese pottery and it was just a solid gold vase. And I'm like, yes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that because if you think about that, you can like overlay the inflammation with beautiful golds. You
Yeah.
can clear it. You can sparkle. Like diamonds are made under a lot of pressure. Like we're 90% water, y'all, you know?
Yeah.
And we pretty much like, I just can't even tell you that we have to remember that when we understand inflammation more truthfully, and I think start to have conversations like this, we provide a framework for like our full truth as humans. Like right now, we are in the biggest transformation of our lives, all of us. And I think that the reduction of inflammation is something that we can all begin to do today.
Mm.
What is that irritant that we either can sometimes, Noah, you and I were speaking with a friend about social media
Yeah.
breaks that she
Yeah.
takes,
Totally.
right? We were
Totally.
like, these are the kinds of things because people like want coherence. Like,
Talk about Michelle if you would. I feel like
please.
I really want people to hear this because anytime I was inflamed in life,
Mhm, mhm.
physically or emotionally, relationally, spiritually, so forth,
Yeah.
I, in many instances, knew or thought I knew what the root cause was, but I always said, oh, but I can't change that. Or no, because that'll inconvenience this person, or this will make this go wrong. Like I had a litany of reasons and excuses why I couldn't do it. And it wasn't about willpower. A lot of it was people pleasing, a lot of it was fear, a lot of it was uncertainty.
Yeah.
And so that's where I feel like the real work comes in is like, hey, if you do what you need to do and make the necessary shifts. Like one of the things, like there's always a plan C. You know, that's been my
Yes.
big message as a Taurian. I'm like, black, white, A, B. No, there's a plan C, right? And and that's where you come in, Michelle, because you help people, including myself, see those options.
Well,
Like,
that's where the healing begins, is in choices,
yeah.
right? Because like there's a learning that occurs.
Mhm.
There's like this opening up, like I say to folks in my office, like if we just obviously colon hydrotherapy clients are calling in the universe and saying, I want change.
Mhm.
Like I have to do something
And
differently.
everybody, Michelle, I just saw a review for Nashville Colon Care the other day, and I have said this myself: is colon hydrotherapy is a spiritual experience, like it seriously is.
Well, and I believe that especially the reason why younger, like millennials and Gen Zers are showing up in the numbers that they are is because you guys understand that your soul is housing your body.
Mm, yeah,
Your soul is having the experience of housing this body.
yeah,
That's on the outside.
yeah,
And when we say that as like Gen Xers to y'all, you get it. If I were to say this to another Gen Xer or to like a boomer, they'd be like, wait, what? It's just, there's certain things that resonate. And
mm,
I think that's why the younger generation, this guy that showed up in his 20s, and he said one of the funniest things to me, but it was so loving and it gave me such hope. He goes, Michelle, there should be lines out the door to see you. Like you should be handing out numbers. And I was like,
yes,
what? And he was like, no, really. He said, because I'm like a different person. And I thought it was going to take me so long to feel better.
mhm,
And I felt better after three colon hydrotherapy sessions, or somebody that I saw in the last couple of weeks who hasn't felt well for like 4 years.
mm,
Clinically, thank God everything's okay, but didn't know the level of inflammation from the large intestine until a CT scan was like, yeah, your FOS, it's full of poop. And so, like, people don't even know that. And so, like, where is inflammation living in you right now? Right? Like, is it living in your body? Is it living in your spirit? Is it living in your thoughts? Is it living in your energy field? I don't want to freak people out and be like, it's in your soul because it's not. It's just in your energy field. Is it in your spirit? Because all that inflammation, like what you're carrying is creating congestion, possibly, or an activated state, or an irritating kind of like it's like an irritant. But
mm,
remember, pearls are produced from that little continual irritation. And all of a sudden it pops out and something really beautiful. And so I think like what would change, and this is what I want to ask everybody, is if you stop seeing inflammation only as a problem to fight and you started to seeing like it as a message to really understand, what would change in you?
mm.
Like what would change? It's just a messenger. And that whole piece about, oh, I just feel stressed. I want us to get more specific in our language
Yeah,
because that leads to solutions.
totally, totally.
I feel like specificity, right? Like, but yet also at times guess what? Hypnosis in theta waves. You don't even have to speak what the problem is. You just have to put yourself in a willingness to allow yourself to have a conversation about what you want on the other side of it.
Mm,
Because there's also places where people are in great trauma that they might not even be able to speak about it, or maybe something is just really embarrassing.
yeah.
I've worked with sometimes there's very young people. I take children only on referral, but literally there are things that folks just don't have words for yet.
Hmm.
And that's okay. You can have the intention of wanting to reduce whatever that irritant is, and you can still get there.
Yeah,
And Dr. Bandler, the conversation that we had, you can end suffering today.
totally.
That would be something that people can go back and listen to because it's a great reminder of the power of how we can actually shift our now. So I think that, there's a deeper truth going on here of inflammation, Noah, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I feel like what you've really mastered, Noah, like it's kind of like it's turning into a little bit of like your birthday, like a solar return. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like you've learned to trust your gut. I feel like you've really begun to lead with your heart.
Thank you.
And I think that like your light, your liberating, your integrating, your grounding, your harmonization, your transmission, like your light has shifted to where it's running on like more of a self-love. Like, what do I need? My own oxygen mask on first.
Yeah.
And Noah, with that, you've come home to you. So you're
Aw,
like an example for heart and
thank
light
you.
living.
Thank you, Michelle. Like I'm honored to know you, honored to work with you, and I'm just so grateful. You're a spiritual mentor, and I hope and pray that the people listening reach out and they witness the same transformation.
Thank you so much, Noah. And thank you, sweet listeners, for being with us today. And let us know what you need, what you think of this episode. Share it with those that you think might be ready to get rid of some inflammation today. And we're going to get to go a little bit deeper and talk about gut intelligence and the inflammation overhaul in the not so distant future. So I look forward to that. Thank you guys so much for listening.